Hey guys, as part of our build up to our study of Daniel, I thought we should take a look at something in the New Testament where Jesus specifically said, hey, go read Daniel. When he was asked a question, uh, he referenced Daniel for people to go study. So let me read that. It's chapter 24, verse 15. He said, this is the words of Christ. He said, so when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel standing in the holy place, in parentheses, let the reader understand. So let's get some context around that, okay? So this is the part of chapter 24 in Matthew where Christ is answering a three-piece question that his disciples asked. They said, hey, when will Jerusalem and the temple be destroyed? When will be the end of the age? And when will you return? And so this is his answer. And what I just read, where he refers to the abomination of desolation in Daniel, is part of his answer. So a couple things I want to note there. One is the audience context, right? So he says, so when you see the abomination of desolation, so he's looking at the people who asked him the question, and he's like, when you see that, you'll know these things are getting near. So you can't be 2,000 years of people, okay? It just can't be. Because not everybody would be able to see the abomination of desolation if it was 2,000 years of people. It's also interesting to note that if you keep reading here in Matthew 24, the next verse, he says, let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Well, the futurists, dispensationalists, they all say that this is some big worldwide event that's in our future, the abomination of desolation. But it's notable that Christ was just talking about Judea, just talking about modern day Israel, which has nothing to do with eschatology or prophecy. So that's just another audience context, right? And then another thing that's interesting, and I'll get back to Daniel in a minute, but another thing that's interesting is you talk to futurists and they want to, well, we're not sure what the abomination of desolation is. It's when some bad person, the Antichrist, goes into a third temple in Jerusalem, a temple that doesn't exist, and does something that's an abomination. It's what that is in our future. Yet in Luke 21, verse 20, Luke tells us, and again, audience context, he says, but when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that its desolation has come near. So he defined the abomination of desolation as when Jerusalem would be surrounded, and it was the Roman army. This is all talking about the Roman-Jewish war from 66 to 70 AD. Again, audience context. So when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, again, that can't be 2,000 years of people, because not all those people could see it surrounded. So now back to Daniel. So Daniel mentions the abomination of desolation in three places, okay? 9:27, 11:31, and 12:11. And obviously when we go, I have them written down here, when we go into our studies of each chapter, we're going to talk about each one of those places that it's referred to. And it's clearly the time period of the end of Jerusalem and the temple in that Roman-Jewish war, 66 to 70 AD, that's being referred to here. It has nothing to do with some future Antichrist. So I think it's notable, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Here's our closing point. By name, Christ referred to an Old Testament prophet. He said, here, go read Daniel. Daniel spoke about this. If you want more information, go read it. He may have mentioned in the New Testament some other prophet by name. Hey, go read Ezekiel, go read, Hosea, whatever. I haven't found that. If I'm missing that, let me know. he references them all the time, right? All Christ and the apostles, Paul, they're all the time just bringing it's all about the Old Testament, the fulfillment of it. But by name, he calls out Daniel. Let me know if there's another place in the New Testament where Christ specifically says, hey, go read Ezekiel, or something like that. All right, guys, we'll catch up really soon.